is leaving our district. Yahaira Leafstone, would you please come up for your GEM Award? And before I go down there, your colleagues had great things to say about you. I'll go down there and give you your award. But she is a breath of fresh air, kind, gentle. She is a go-getter at the school, and she is truly remarkable as an educator. And these are a few words from your administrator, who couldn't be here today. This couldn't have gone to a more deserving person, Mrs. Leafstone. Yahaira makes his job a lot easier in many ways. She runs the social committee, serves on a leadership team, part of the AZ leaders, and thousands of other little things that she does in addition to being an all-star teacher. So for that, we recognize you as a GEM employee. So congratulations, Ms. Yahaira, for being an outstanding, extraordinary employee, and we wish you the best.
Go ahead and do the next item, too.
Okay. Next, we have Mrs. Morales from Douglas High School presenting and giving us a little presentation on her drama club, and you saw a little glimpse of what they are able to do.
You saw a very small glimpse.
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, Board President Brain, school board members, excuse me, Mrs. Samaniego, I was going to say Mrs. Morales, DUSD administrators, and guests. I am Lisa Morales. I am an English teacher at Douglas High School, and I'm also the Douglas High School Drama Club advisor. It's been an honor to work alongside so many dedicated and talented, hardworking students to create and present so many events this school year. And we had a very eventful year. We had several events throughout the entire year. We did some movie nights. We performed at some church bazaars. We did some community events, and we still were able to do 2 musicals. So we did Charlie Brown Christmas, and then we also did Mamma Mia, as you witnessed today. And it was just an honor to be around so many wonderfully talented young people in this district. We have so many things going on at the high school. We have sports, we have so many clubs, and sometimes I think the arts gets buried under that. And it's not anyone's fault, but we really need to push forward for that a little bit more. And I think we're doing a really good job. I'd like to give great thanks to a couple of people, most especially Hector Cañas for helping us with Mamma Mia and doing the audio for us. He was a big help to us. Another big help for us, and a very big supporter who was very upset that we didn't do Winner Takes It All, was Marco Durazo. He has been a big support for us, always opening up the auditorium or moving something or bringing audio or bringing the lights. He's been a very big support. But we also we need to recognize Ruben Morales, Adrian Torres, thank you so much, GDR Photography, Robin Morales, and our parents, families, and friends, because along the way, they weren't seeing us very often. Quite a few of us had to give up our spring break. We gave up many Saturdays to bring you this wonderful show, and it breaks my heart to have to give up so many of my seniors, but I know that they're going to go off and do some wonderful things. But as you say, Mrs. Samaniego, we work with heart, and these guys left their heart on the stage.
Yes, thank you, congratulations.
I did have a really short presentation. It's just showing you all of the different things we did. Am I supposed to do it, or do you do it?
Marcos, too.
Oh, Marco.
First of all, are you done?
Oh, absolutely,
Oh,
yes.
we have a
I
little
could keep talking, but no,
questions?
We have a presentation that
Oh,
she's gonna.
okay, good.
And
because I'm
it's,
sure
it's
the
just
board
really
wants to-
short. It's just a couple of pictures of the different things that we've done this year. Of course, this is our Mamma Mia photo, and we went big this year. We charged $4. So I think next year we might do a little bit of a hike. I think it's deserving, and the kids work really hard, and $5 should be enough, I think. So, but along the way, we were able to learn how to do a lot of things. A lot of the construction for the backdrops was constructed by the students with adult supervision. Don't get me wrong, they didn't go off and do things by themselves. But we did painting, we did screwing up the flats. We had to do a lot of stucco. We did so many different things. And here are a couple of the things that we did. We went running in August. We started off the first day of school with auditions for Mamma Mia and Charlie Brown Christmas. And we've been practicing practically every day since August. So that's another reason why it's going to be so hard to let go. But we've become a very tight-knit group, and it's been a wonderful experience. But the next couple of pictures are what we did. We had a movie night. We had Haunted Mansion, and we also did the Barbie movie. That was a big success. We had a lot of people show up, had a lot of fun with that. And this is some of the construction pictures. It was touch and go there for a second because a lot of us were like, should we really do this? Yes, we have to do this. We absolutely had to do this. We had to make this the very best it could be. And if it wasn't for, like I said, for Mr. Ruben Morales, for Robin, for Adrian Chavez, for Tony Smith, there's so many of us that got together, and we took time out of our vacations to get this show to you, to really spice this up. And this is just us rocking to Rock Lobster. Sorry, guys, I had to put that picture in. This is our warm-up. We love to do a lot of dancing. The kids are really up to doing so many different things. And then we start getting into the pictures of our live show, and it was sensational. We had such a good time. We had wonderful response. I had a few people say, it's a shame that only this many people showed up. We had people coming every single show. So it was a big success for us. But again, more pictures. We had a disco ball. Thank you, Marco, for the disco ball. And but it was a great night. We had 2 new students that came in and took over the lights. I mean, Adrian Chavez was able to get in and work with Marco to set up the lights, but these 2 newbies just came right in, Lucia Castro and Daniela Llanes, and they're sophomores, so I get to keep them for a couple more years. And we were in the paper, so thank you very much to Bruce Wetton, who came out and did a little article on us. And we just had a fabulous time. It was a great experience for me. I can't speak for all of my kids, but I'm assuming they had fun because they showed up to every event that we've been asked to do. So I really appreciate them. They're close to my heart, and they'll keep coming back for more. I know they will. But now I think
congratulations to you, and especially to the students.
Thank you so much.
That was an outstanding performance that we had out there before the meeting.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. First of all, how many times have you actually performed what you did out there?
We actually did the full show 4 different times. We've done bits and pieces of the show. For Church Bazaar, we did 1 song, and then we have to vary it depending on how much time they allot us. Just this past weekend, we did the Energized Douglas event downtown, and it wasn't the full show that you saw, but they asked us to perform twice. So we were on for about 15 minutes. For you, we went all out and did the full 25. So we needed to make sure that you saw everything our students and this club has to offer.
Who did the choreography on that?
Choreography was Robin Morales.
That was
Robin,
great.
can you please step over here?
Great. Yeah.
Robin graduated last year, but I coerced her with, I don't know, with candy and friendship, to come back and stay and do a little number with us. So it was all Robin who did the choreography. I was there to supervise and make sure no one got hurt.
You know, we're very proud of everything that happens at Douglas High School. Always, the athletics are always showcased, right? But there are a lot of other very important and good things going on at that high school, and this is one of them. Congratulations to you for that.
Thank you so much.
Members of the board, any questions or comments?
No,
Mr.
I just
Elmer?
wanted to say, in all the time I've been a board member, I had never seen a presentation done by the Dramatic Club, and it was marvelous. I was really blown away with the attitude of the kids and the ability, the synchronization, especially the harmonics. It sounded professional.
Thank you so much.
Very, very good job.
Thank you.
Mr. Lindeman?
I just wanted to say congratulations. That was wonderful. And I've always said that we have talent. We have everything that we could ever ask for in this district, and to all the students and the parents. Thank you.
Ms. Elchow?
Thank you so much. This is one of my favorite musicals. You guys did it wonderfully. I don't have anything to say but yay, yay, you, because you guys were great, and it was really hard not to stand up and go,
Oh, I wish you would have, because I also have a picture of Mrs. Samaniego doing just that thing. So, no, we wanted people to stand and have a good
Thank
time and
you.
dance in your seat, so.
and Lisa, you are an example of what our teachers are at Douglas High School and in Douglas Unified School District.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Members of the administration, any comments or questions?
No, thank you. And thank you for accepting my invitation
Oh,
so that our governing board could see a little bit about the talent of our kiddos at Douglas High School. And so,
Absolutely. We
And
never
again,
say
want
no.
to thank all the students that were here. You guys were marvelous. You were fantastic. Thank you.
thank you.
Yes.
And we do want to let you know that your Mr. Victor Luna is also part of Douglas Drama Club. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to dance with us this time.
He's involved in any kind
He's
of
everything.
He's like the Spanish painter Velázquez. You know, every time he painted a famous portrait, he put himself somewhere in the picture. That's Mr.
Absolutely,
Luna.
sir. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll give the drama club a few minutes. Next, we have Ray Barrain Middle School Principal, Mrs. Rodna Lamadrid, and I believe staff presenting a little bit about our Ray Barrain Middle School and one of their initiatives.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, Mr. Burain, school board members, district administration, staff, students, and parents that are here tonight. We are here to represent RBMS and give you a little showcase of our response to interventions, what we've been doing this year. I have brought with me this evening our three of our leadership members. These are grade level leaders. First off is Ms. Stacy de la Vega, who is our sixth grade leader. Then we have Ms. Maria Reese, who's our seventh grade team leader, and our eighth grade team leader, Ms. Eve Brown. They'll be presenting, giving a brief presentation on our response to intervention, the successes, and where we go from here. They also incorporated some student work as well as some student testimonials, which you'll be seeing on your screens as well. I'll turn it over to Ms. De La Vega. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, board members, administration, and students, staff, parents, and other students who are here. My name is Stacy de la Vega, as Ms. La Madrid said, and today we're going to be looking at our school-wide RTI interventions that we decided to implement this year, literally school-wide, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Our focus was grammar. So here's why we decided to do this. We realized that grammar leads to eloquent and confident communication. And when you can provide opportunities for students to have that, you help them grow and flourish in many other ways so that they can later on play sports or dance in a musical or paint a picture or sculpt or whatever it is that we'd like them to do. So one of the things that we really talk a lot about at Ray Bahrain is that we're preparing our students for the future. And we like to realize the whole student. So we're not just looking at one particular section, but we want to make sure that their future is successful no matter what they choose to do. Whether it be a career or it be some trade or whatever it is, we want them to feel confident. And we feel like we are trying to give them those experiences so that they can do that. The grammar curriculum that we chose, we wanted to make sure that it was aligned to the curriculum, obviously to the state standards. We wanted to make sure that it was engaging for students and it wasn't teacher-driven, but more student-driven. And we also wanted to make absolute sure that it was rigorous, so that students were involved, but also were feeling that they had an active role in their own learning and that without them, it wouldn't be as successful. This is the plan of action that we put in place at RBMS. It was a weekly situation where there were diagnostics given 4 times a year at the beginning, in the middle, a little bit after, I think it was January, and then just recently we had our last one. So we had a pre for a baseline and then a post so that we could do some measurement. We had dedicated mini lessons throughout the week. And along with that, we had slideshows and we had posters for the classroom. There were cutouts that they each created their own notebooks. And then on Fridays, they had a cumulative assessment. So now what? That's a lot of information to throw at you at once. What are we going to do with all of those things that we're requiring students to do and be a part of? So the data was reviewed weekly at our grade level PLC meetings. And then that data drove student placement, because that's what's important. We wanted students to know that they weren't just going to be stuck in one place, but that their progress would kind of define where they went. So we did small group planning. We also provided supplemental materials for students who were either above course or below. And then the vertical movement was always available throughout. And I think our biggest focus was we were raising the bar. We wanted students to know that their movement depended upon them. So, does it actually work? Well, that's a good question. So here's some pictures of the notebooks that they created. And it was really funny because when we first started, the notebooks were very thin at the beginning of the year because they haven't been cracked open yet. And now we've had to get additional boxes to put them in because they are so full that they don't all fit where they used to fit before. And that actually makes me really happy. So here is some of the data that we collected. 87% of our students that were tested demonstrated growth from pre to post, which is absolutely phenomenal. More phenomenal than that is that 10% of the students that were tested demonstrated growth, but we didn't include them in that initial data because they weren't present for the initial pre-test at the beginning of the school year. And 3% of our students that were tested have only been with us for 2 months or less. So if you add all that up, that's pretty good. I feel like we're really making some headway and making some progress in the right direction. So we asked some of our students, tell us about RTI. Tell us how it's going. What do you think? How has it made you feel? What has it done for you? And so we've got some quotes here from some of our students. Mariah says, I noticed RTI helped me expand my vocabulary, improve my writing, and it changed the structure of my writing too. Alyssa said, I compared my writing from last year to this year, and it has improved drastically. And these are changes that aren't being seen just in the English arts department, in the English language department, but also in science, in social studies, in math, in the way that they are providing evidence and using their words to really describe what they're saying or explain how they're solving problems. And then here are some of our students at work. So those RTI times are spent, like I said, they're student-driven. So there are conversations happening at every group, and we have lead learners at every table who are giving that information and helping them grow. And you'll just see everywhere you look, there are groups, and they're working together cohesively. And the groups change, again, because every quarter we look at that data and decide where kids need to go. So I'm going to pass this on to our 7th and 8th grade teachers. I appreciate your time. Do you have any questions for me?
What grade do you teach?
I teach 6th grade reading and writing.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you.
You're a good model.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No, I'm talking about enunciation, inflection. and grammar.
You gotta practice what you preach, right?
Yeah, right.
So good evening, members of the board, district administration. We didn't forget about math, of course, at Ray Brain. And actually, with the adoption of our new mathematics curriculum this year, iReady, we were dedicating time to work on our intervention strategies within a program that's built into iReady, and it's called MyPath. So MyPath is a computer-based program from iReady, and it's designed to assess the students' ability levels at their grade level. And then what it will do is it will individualize their instruction. It will assign lessons for them to work on each week in order for the students to grow and show progress to the next grade level. So the students are required to work on MyPath. We work on them every Wednesday in math at school and then at home. And then the teachers keep track of the progress, and we have weekly conversations with the students about their progress. The students complete a diagnostic at least 3 times a year to assess where they are and to make progress to the next grade level. And again, it allows the students to have individualized math instruction at their own grade level, as well as allowing our teachers to work with students in small groups or one-on-one to help them learn those skills to make it to the next grade level. So we are proud to report that MyPath has been a big success at RBMS. Currently, our students are taking their last diagnostic test to see how much they've grown. We don't have the data just yet because the program will change its testing depending on the student. So some students will have longer tests, some students will have shorter tests, but we can provide that data if you would like. We did have one 8th grade student, though, test completely out of the program in March. She finished every single lesson in junior high, and we got an email from iReady congratulating us for having that student complete every single lesson. We do have a few testimonials from 7th and 8th grade students who have worked on MyPath this year. Volume.
Through Clever. Can you talk to me a little bit about it?
Well,
All right, what is your name and what grade are you in?
my name is Makaylee Alvarez and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, Makaylee. I'd like to ask you a little bit about your MyPath program through Clever. Can you talk to me a little bit about it?
Well, once you start in Clever, it creates a diagnostic test for you, and after you finish, it creates a learning path for you that's right for your understanding. And when you get those paths, you do it, and okay, and then you do the path, and if you ever get a question wrong, it walks you through the steps so then you understand it more.
Good. Does it start you automatically at the 7th grade level?
No, you could get 5th grade if you're not where you need to be, and that'll help you advance more into where you need to be.
Do you feel that starting from the 5th grade level, if that's where you did start, helped you fill in some of the gaps that you were missing from before?
Yeah, because if you were missing on division, it would like tell you, and then you would advance more and more so that you could grasp the division.
All right, thank you. Would you recommend, or would you like to continue the MyPath when you go into 8th grade?
Yeah, it'll help you more to understand math.
All right, thank you. All right, what is your name and what grade are you in? What is your name and what grade are you in?
My name's Jaylene Daka and I'm in 7th grade.
All right, Jaylene, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your MyPath through Clever. Can you talk to me a little bit about it?
Clever, when you take a diagnostic test at the beginning of starting it, and then after the diagnostic test, it creates a MyPath with math assignments that are designated to your scale of math.
Okay, do you think that that's helped you out?
Yes, I feel like it's helped me out because it's improved the things that I didn't really understand in 6th grade. It's made me understand them and bring me up to 7th grade level.
All right, do you feel that you would like to continue the MyPath when you go into 8th grade?
Yeah, I would like to continue it because it will help me be ready for high school and it'll help me with the 8th grade things.
All right, that works. Thank you very much.
Those were our 7th graders. Now we have a few 8th graders. We won't do the 8th grade one? Okay. We'll have to share that Google file with you. But I did have a couple of the 8th graders talk about how they really felt that my path had prepared them to get ready for the high school level, especially in algebra. And for the next slide, Marco, we're very excited, all of us on the leadership team. We are really happy with the way our intervention programs were structured this year in grammar and with the math. We're super excited to see how this plays out in our standardized scores. And we definitely have plans to continue this intervention plan for next year. So thank you so much for showcasing our BMS, and there are a lot of great things happening at our school.
Thank you.
Is that it, Ms. Lamadrid? Thank you very much for that presentation for a magnificent school. You know, I have to point out, especially it's that time of the year again. For the last 3 years, in the high school graduation class, the first year it was that of the 3, it was the salutatorian and the valedictorian of the class from our BMS. Last year it was a valedictorian. This year it's going to be the salutatorian. And a lot of that credit and the tribute goes to you people because of your hard work and your dedication down there. Because, you know, teaching, especially in this day and age, is not easy. And there's so many obstacles that you have to overcome, especially at our BMS, because there's sometimes a language problem, right? And to have you 3 guys down there and knowing what you're doing and seeing this type of program is especially grateful, not only to the board, to me, and I'm sure to the administration, because those kinds of outstanding programs are the ones that have students excel, and I think that's shown it there, and hopefully we'll see it again in the scores. All right, members of the board.
I just wanted to say it's a great work that you're doing, and as Mr. Borain stated, I have always said that Ray Borain, you know, I've always had in my heart. I went there too, it was junior high back then. But the fact that in that area, you don't have the same help at home to be able to progress, and it's up to you, to the teachers, to get those kids and get them over the hump. It's a lot difficult for them. They start out with a bad handicap in reality, you know. So, but I'm really glad and I'm proud to see Ray Borain doing so well.
Board member, Mr. Lindemann?
Students,
Wanted to say something.
I'll leave it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with the board first. Go ahead.
student success is what it's all about, and congratulations. This seems to be working wonderfully. Very good.
Ms. Halchel?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you how excited I am to see that your feedback and your scores, your improvement, 87%, wonderful. I mean, you even had a math student who blew the top off of it. Excellent, excellent. It always concerned me that people thought RTI meant tutoring when it really is intervention, and so that makes me really excited to see you taking that so seriously and doing something with it and showing how well it works. You're a role model. And one more thing. Ray Borain Middle School, raise your hand if you went to Ray Borain or your kids went to Ray Borain.
All right.
Fernando, raise your hand.
I did go to school there.
There we go, there we go. Exactly, excellence at RBMS.
That settles it. We're going to go to the nearest bar and we're going to have a good time.
Sorry.
No, thank you so much, Rodner. Go ahead.
And just
and
one more celebration. I have to let you guys know. So we just got our Azala scores, which is the English language learner proficiency exam. We had 23 students score proficient on our Azala score. We had 11 from, I believe it was 11 from 8th grade, 7 from 7th grade, and I believe 6 from 6th grade, 5 or 6 from 6th grade, but a total of 23. So that's phenomenal. So we've maintained, and we're at 19% of our students scored proficient on the Azala out of over 120 to 25 students. So we're doing great things there. Thank you.
Anything else regarding this program tonight? Anybody else, member of the staff from RBMS? Maria, you're not going to say anything? That's unusual. Thank you so much
She's
for being
moral
here. And
support.
thanks for a great
I
presentation.
just
you.
wanted to
Thank
say,
you.
Ray, that you and I attended Rainbow Ray because there wasn't any other school we could go to.
Nah, but Mario, where'd your kids go? I know.
Yes.
Ms. Salchow taught down there for a minute.
Yes, I did, and I taught his, I taught
All
one of
right,
his
thank you
kids.
very much again. Thank you.
Thank you. And our next
Go ahead, Liz.
presentation is a dual partnership between Douglas High School Administration and Mr. J. De La Rey, Graduation Alliance. We've talked before, board members, about the need to have a, our dropout prevention program, increase our graduation rate, and also the need for possibly an alternative school setting for high school kids who sometimes end up getting the long-term suspended path. And so we're here tonight to present a little bit about what hopefully you will approve next in our agenda.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Barain, board president, and Mrs. Samaniego, and everyone else here. I think we've welcomed you guys throughout the entire first part of this meeting. So anyways, just like Mrs. Samaniego said, so Mrs. Samaniego actually brought this to us, and I'll let Graduation Alliance explain in detail what they provide for not just our district, but more importantly for our students. So just like she said, it is a dropout prevention program. And so the target of students would be students that maybe have poor attendance or have gotten in some trouble, but are not, behavior students. Okay, sometimes our students make mistakes and they've never been in trouble before, and then unfortunately do something to put them in a long-term suspension situation. So just to give you a little data before I have Jay and his team speak. So in the district, I had Sylvia at the New Student Center run some data for us. So in school year 22-23, so we have a W3 withdrawal code and a W4 withdrawal code. So a W3 means it's been a long-term suspension or expulsion. So that means that it's students are withdrawn from the district for a period of time. And then, of course, our W4s are 10-day drops. So after 10 days of non-attendance and multiple attempts to contact parents, home visits, unfortunately, after 10 days, they are withdrawn from the district. So in 22-23, for W3 long-term suspensions, we had a total of 9 that were suspended for the remainder of the school year, and then W4s, we had 30. So 30 10-day drops. For this school year, our numbers have increased, unfortunately. So W3s, we had a total of 13. And for W4s, we had 41. Okay, so a total of 54 students. So the 10-day suspension long-term hearings, which are the discipline reports you guys receive, we had a total of 21 students this academic school year. And we had 20 students of those 21 that were all due to vaping. And this is THC vaping. And then 1 possession of drugs, which was not in a vape this time. So 7 students returned after the long-term hearing. So that means the hearing officer allowed them to return to school. And 13 of them were suspended for the remainder of the school year. Okay, so you're wondering what does this data represent? So this is part of a target group of students that would really benefit from Graduation Alliance. Okay, and then just a little bit more. In our credit appeals, we have 73 students currently just for semester 2 of this school year that have excessive absences. We're talking 30 to 50 plus absences in one semester, not even a school year. Okay, so these kids are not coming to school, so we need to find other avenues to provide them an education that for whatever reason, if they're not attending in school, maybe there's another option for them to continue their education, more importantly for them, but also to benefit our district. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jay go more in detail regarding what Graduation Alliance can provide for us.
Thank you, Board and Superintendent, for giving us the time and the opportunity just to visit with you this evening. My name is Dr. Mary Harris, and I have my colleague Jay. And Jay has done the majority of the work with your team in introducing Graduation Alliance, who we are and what we represent in terms of working with most at-risk students. We have been doing this work for 16 years. Just not in Arizona primarily. We started 16 years ago working with the most at-risk students who are considered dropped out of school. And I like to use the term, I don't really love the term drop out, so I use the term students who can't or won't go to school, because there is a difference between those two types of students. And we do work with both to make sure that they get put back on a path that they will receive their high school diploma from Douglas Unified. So we become an embedded program of the district. We work hand in hand with your high school for the students that you just learned about that are your W3, W4 codes, your students who are chronically absent. They're referred into our program. They will always remain your students. We just worked with them to get them on a path to graduation. So they will be enrolled in our program. It's an online asynchronous program, and I think post-COVID, some of us think, online again, really, we're going to go there. But for these students, we have learned because they can't or won't go to school, especially if it's an expulsion, they really do need that flexible program. We do have high accountability and requirements, but we know they need to work at different times than other students. Our data shows us these kids are working primarily at 2 o'clock in the morning, which most of us can't imagine, but that's when our students are most active online. This program is approved by the Arizona Department of Education, so all of our curriculum is proprietary. We have written it. We have written it with these types of students in mind. And all of our teachers are Arizona certified. They are all trained in working with at-risk students, and they do high touches with the students. So they have low numbers in their courses, and they make sure that they are communicating with these students on a very regular basis and providing real-time feedback. We know, though, for this population, that's probably not going to be enough. So we also make sure that they have an academic coach. We lovingly refer to these coaches as the NAG, because this is the person that really becomes involved in that role model in their life, where they are actually monitoring pace and progress. So they're making sure they're logging in, they're making sure they have the resources they need. If they need some study help, study tips, resources for their learning and their academics, they'll help them with a learning plan, they help them with a post-graduation plan, and that is also a virtual position. I think the most important position we offer, though, is we actually have a local advocate in your community. That local advocate meets with the students face-to-face a few times a month. For the students, this is a great opportunity to get face-to-face support. They can help them, of course, with anything they need with their academics, but really, this is the whole child piece. This is the social-emotional piece. We want to get eyes on these kids. We want to sit down with them. And this is when we learn things of, housing insecurity, food insecurity. God forbid if they're put in a situation where they need to get out of their home. This is the person that really helps those students. They link the district and the community back to the student to get them the resources they need to be able to be successful, because we know if their basic needs aren't met, they're not going to be able to learn. So those are the human capacity that we wrap around these students to offer them all types of success in the program. We do give them a Wi-Fi enabled laptop, so it's tech enabled. We make sure that if they can have cell phone access, they can access their work. And we also have 24/7 tutors, because like I said, most of them are working at 2 in the morning, and if they need algebra help at 2 in the morning, we want to make sure that they can get that when they need it. So that's a lot of information thrown at you. Before I kind of go into a little bit about graduation as a whole, pause there for questions.
Are you going to make part of the presentation? Are you going to do part of a presentation?
Yeah, I'll
We-
speak.
Why don't we have you do that, and then we'll wait till the end to have the questions from the
I
board.
just want to just briefly say something too. Once we do obtain barrier data from the students, we do report that back to the district. So these are things that you're going to find out why the student hasn't been coming to school. They can be incarcerated, teen pregnancy, maybe having to take helping a family member out that might be sick. We do bring all that information back to the district. That way you guys are able to upgrade your records and even potentially remove them from your book. With our program, we really wanted to surround them with a wraparound support system to help them achieve their academic goal. That's why we surround them with an academic coach, a local advocate, and provide all that 24/7 tutoring and remove all the barriers from having to use an internet and the laptop. So all that is provided for the student. So that's one of the reasons why we provide all that for the kids, because that's how we feel that is going to help them to become successful in the classroom.
Did you want to add something?
They have a PowerPoint too.
Yeah, we had a PowerPoint. I didn't know if it was going to be able to be brought up or not, so
No,
we
yes.
kind of went through it. So if you want to skip to let's go to the next one. That's the supports we talked about. Let's go to the next one. So this is just a little bit of our national data from the last year. We actually helped 18,000 students. Like I said, we're somewhat new to Arizona. That was because we need to get legislation on our side to make this cost neutral for districts. But this is just some of our data that across the nation that we have worked with. I think probably one of the standouts for me is that 68%, which for last milers. Our last milers are students that come to us as a senior. We have an almost 70% success rate of getting those kids a high school diploma, which is pretty phenomenal. We do try to help students who are freshmen, sophomores, senior, or juniors that have only a few credits to make up. We do try to matriculate them back into the district. We believe they belong in the classroom. We do not believe they should be with us for all 4 years. That is not the best place for them to be. So we really work with the district. Once we get them built up academically, behaviorally, and in a good cadence, we try to get them to come back to school, which I think is important as well. So you can go to the next slide. So we spoke a little, Principal Rodriguez spoke a little bit about this, how students are referred to us. This is totally up to the district. We will never recruit students. We will never reach out to them. We will only speak to students who the district gives us their name and their information and says this is a good candidate for your program. So it is purely a referral basis. Some districts like to go back the past 3 years and say, hey, here's a list of kids the past 3 years. We haven't even heard from some of these kids from 2 years. We don't even know where they are. We'll actually take that list and we will go out and try to find these students. We have lots of interesting data points we can use to try to locate them if they have a new phone number or new address. If we get a hold of them, we will offer them the program if they are still in district. If they're not, we also bring that back to you. So if they've moved out of state, if they've enrolled in another district, which I'm a former assistant soup, and it is crazy to me that kids can enroll in another district without transcripts ever being requested, but it happens all of the time. So we will bring all of that back to you so you can clean up your books as well as if we find them and they're no longer part of the district. You can skip to the next one. Just a little bit about Graduation Alliance. So we are, in the state of Arizona, we are a vendor and partner with one GPA. So that makes it easy and clean for districts to partner with us. We also have, we've been working for the past 3 years in Arizona with adult education, getting adults in Arizona their diplomas who are out of high school. That is funded through the state as well. So we have been working with your adult learners for several years now. We just needed to get legislation cleaned up to be able to operate with districts in a partnership that it's totally cost neutral for districts. And so what I mean by that is students who are with us, once they're enrolled in the program, we will never invoice for a student until they're being successful in the program and you are drawing FTE back into the district. So once that funding kicks back into the district from the state, we take a portion of that, we leave a portion for the district, so it's 100% cost neutral. You will never have to find a new budget line to support this program. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. One of the things that you will get back as part of the data as well is we do a net promoter score, where if you've ever flown Delta or other major airlines, you might get a survey that says, how would you rate us out of 5 stars? And they might ask you for feedback, and that's it. It's a little short survey. We do that with our students and families that we work with. The way that Net Promoter Score works is there is a score of -100 to 100. And companies like Tesla and Apple, they score in the 70s or 80s, and that's considered world-class. We actually average an 83 score. So we are considered world-class in what we do according to the families that we work with. Some of the testimonials we get from these kids and these families are absolutely take your breath away and bring tears to your eyes. So we operate on the principle of being student-centered, and we stand by that in everything we do. So I'm going to pause there and let you ask questions, because I know there's probably holes we missed.
Well, we're going to formally address that as an item on the agenda later. And obviously, the administration and the high school administration are recommending. So I feel confident, notwithstanding the questions that the board can ask, but that it's something that is going to be a very positive and a useful tool for the high school. And hopefully, after seeing some of those statistics, if it's that successful elsewhere, hopefully that'll apply here as well. Members of the board. Mr. Lynn.
I have a couple of questions, but if now or during the, when it comes up on the
It's
agenda?
one way or the other.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, we're going to address it later, and there'll be more conversation, I'm sure. So if you want to hold that question until we get to the item.
Yeah, I'll hold it on, and then we can
Ms.
finish the.
Ms. Saltel, did
I'll
you
wait.
say? All right, you'll be here, obviously,
Yeah,
for the.
we'll stick around.
All right, Ms. Samaniego, anything you want to add?
No.
All right. So go ahead, then we'll move on.
Okay.
Mr. Breen, one more thing I want
Sure, go ahead.
to mention, that students do complete their graduation requirements through Graduation Alliance, they will get a Douglas High School diploma. So just wanted to make sure you know that they will be considered a Douglas High School graduate.
You've worked out all the logistics with them. I'm sure you're familiar with how
Yes.
all of that's going to work and how the involvement of your staff.
Yes, and in addition, we also talked about allowing these students to continue in sports if they're involved in sports, and some of the clubs at Douglas High School as well.
I noticed on there it said that you were NCAA 25%. I'll ask that now. Is that because of eligibility requirements that you people coordinate with them as well?
We do have some
Okay.
students that they are athletes that are college bound, and so
Okay.
we want to make sure that we can have those courses be NCAA aligned.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, members of the board, okay, we're going to move on then.
Okay,
And-
thank you.
And if you people can bear with us till we
Oh,
get
yeah.
to that item on the agenda. Because these meetings are very interesting.
We've been to some interesting ones.
Hey, did you have anything else?
No.
You got the next item.
It's now governing board member report, and then we have our HOSA next.
I thought you have HOSA
Yes.
after the governing board?
Mhm,
Okay. Members of the board, any reports? Mr. Lindeman?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that I attended the Huber Cinco de Mayo and salsa eating contest, and I found myself judging some of the salsa, which was hard for me to do because it was all so good, you know. And so, but I wanted to commend the Huber staff and Principal Martin for doing such a wonderful job. They had the high school band there, the Huber band was there, the folklorical dances. It was wonderful, and thank you very much for that. And then also I did attend the FFA banquet again this year. That was again another wonderful display of our students. As I've said, our students are the best. So thank you.
Ms. Salchel?
I was lucky enough to be invited to the FFA banquet. I'm an honorary member, so I would have gone probably anyway, but it was really exciting to be there as a representative of the school board. And it was tremendous. So much generosity from our community going into helping purchase jackets, awards, scholarships, camp, tuition. It's tremendous, wonderful time that I had. I also attended the Night of Excellence at Douglas High School for our school district, and we have some students who did wonderfully on their standardized test. Good for them. And like Mitch said, we have the best.
We're in
Thank you.
the Herald on
Go
that
ahead.
too.
Go ahead.
We're on the Herald if you get the Herald. We have our pictures and the students, so it's a nice advertisement for us.
Mr. Ramos.
Yes, you know, a lot of these functions I'm not able to attend because physically it's very difficult for me. But I get all the feedback from my colleagues and everything that goes on, and I'm really, really proud of all of you of our district. I'm glad to be on this board and to be able to serve and to help you. I'm really proud of all of our staff and our students.
Okay, thank you for that. Now we'll move on
To reports.
Martha Alonso. She's a new face. We haven't seen her in a long time. So,
She's been patiently waiting along with her colleagues.
Well, good evening. Good evening,
evening.
Board, Mr. Soto, Ms. Cox, Ms. Samaniego. Well, I'm here. I'm not Ms. Alonso, obviously.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to get started here. We are HOSA. We are HOSA. And so just to start off, I want to say this year marks our 17th school year as a part of HOSA. HOSA has been around for 19 years in the state of Arizona, and we have been a part of it. When I first got here in 2007, 2005, 2007, 2008, we started HOSA at Douglas High School. So we've been here for a while. And so I just want to start with that. And so the first slide you see on the slideshow is what HOSA is. Now, I'm sure most of you, we've been here before, so we know what HOSA is. It's a student-led organization that's led by our students. The organization is all about focusing our students into a healthcare field. All right, they get to challenge themselves in their skills in a healthcare field, in their leadership skills, in their technical skills, and so we give the opportunity to participate in those things and network. And this year we had over 100 students, I believe about 124 or so. Students in 4 chapters. Now, typically we have 4 chapters. This year was kind of less than that, so Ms. Seville and I had to combine our people. We had 3 chapters. Ms. Alonso had a chapter, Ms. Rosario had a chapter, and we had a chapter. And so that all comes to play the 124 students, all a part of HOSA, participating in these leadership skills. And so I just want to let you in on a little bit of what we do here at the high school. Thank you.
All right, so good evening. I'm Ms. Alonso. Nice to see you all. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the community involvement that we have. And so this year we participated in a few key events around our community. We ourselves brought the American Red Cross blood drive. We were able to collect 47 pints of blood this year. We also participated in the National Marrow Donor Program. Used to be the Match. They changed their name. And we registered 44 new donors, and we raised money for them as well. And last week, we were invited to the Cochise County Healthcare Workforce Forum, which is the first year that was taking place. And we went to talk about the total volunteer hours. So this was for my chapter, Biomedical. We had 737 registered volunteer hours in the HOSA system. And we were invited to the forum to meet with potential future employees for our students, or employers, sorry, for our students. And they asked what was the one thing that we needed. And so we were actually featured in KEGA 9. So we have a little video to show you guys.
Through these stores for the first time, community leaders had an open dialogue about the needs and opportunities when it comes to the county's healthcare workforce. The outcomes for today was there's collaboration efforts throughout the county.
Better together.
In 2022, there were over 12,000 healthcare positions in Cochise County. By 2032, it's expected to increase by 20%.
When we go out, that's where we meet our workforce. When you interact with the community, that's the best way to find great people to fill your office.
Part of the community is students who are in groups like Future Health Professionals, formerly called HOSA.
HOSA has helped me become a leader.
Martha Alonzo, advisor for Douglas High School's chapter, says their biggest need is volunteer opportunities, even though they completed 737 hours this school year.
That's where we struggle though. Although that seems like a lot and it seems amazing, remember we have 123 kids. It is very difficult to get them all opportunities.
Lang says the information from Friday will be shared and used in future forums to make the county's health care better.
I think sometimes people have a narrow view of healthcare, but it's really about whole person. It's about making people whole and making sure that their lives are the best that they can be.
At Cochise College in Douglas, Alexis Ramanjulu, KGA 9.
So we followed a presentation by another teacher saying that this new generation was really difficult to work with and that they were irresponsible and hard to, get them involved. And then I showed up with my girls all dressed up in uniforms, and we were the most popular at the event. Everybody wanted our card and wanted to work with us. So we got a lot of invitations. Not all of them are here. We got invitations from Sierra Vista, from Tucson, to collaborate and get some opportunities for our students. So they are getting the word out there, and they are putting themselves on the map. So with that, we're going to have them tell you about what they've accomplished this year. Oh, this is my part, sorry. We had 65 students that qualified to regionals, and then we took over 80 students to state. Out of those 80 students, we had 70 students that placed in the top 10 in the state of Arizona.
DHS had 3 teams for parliamentary procedure this year. 2 teams are going to the International Leadership Conference in June, having placed 1st and 3rd place in state.
You're wondering what is parliamentary procedure? Well, parliamentary procedure is where a meeting is held using Robert's Rule of Order. This provides our members the opportunity to gain skills and knowledge to conduct a simulated business meeting.
Good evening, my name is Victor Luna, and I had the pleasure and honor of representing Douglas High School in our state HOSA competition this year in clinical nursing. Clinical nursing provides members with the opportunity to gain knowledge and skills in their related health field. In this case, you're demonstrating 2 rounds of practice where in your first round you have a knowledge assessment, basically testing your skills as to what you would need in order to succeed in your future health field, which then qualifies you for the actual state competition where you demonstrate your skills. This year I was able to place 1st in the state, and then we also had our second student, which unfortunately could not be here, Carol Villalobos. She placed 3rd in the state. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Valeria Manriquez.
And my name is Carlo Corona.
And our competition was public health. Public health is an emergency preparedness competition where competitors are given a public health issue and they have to create a dynamic and creative presentation to raise awareness about this issue to their community.
This year, 2 of our HOSA chapters, 2 teams in our HOSA chapters qualified for nationals. The team that got 1st place is made up of Alia Hernandez, Valeria Manriquez, Sofia Rosales, Alvaro Fonseca, Emiliano Delgado, and Jorge Rodriguez. And the team that got 2nd place is made up of Michelle Herrera, María Ángela Armenta, Eduardo Anaya, Fernando Villa, Demian Núñez, and Carlo Corona.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ariane Chavez. I am the representative of the category of mental health promotions. Please excuse my voice. I'm fresh off a senior trip at Disneyland, so lost my voice on the Incredicoaster. But regardless, what mental health promotions is that it's a competitive event involving the spread of mental health issues. Competitors will choose a specific mental health issue that is prevalent within the community and students, and they create a campaign and a social media campaign resolving the mental health issues. My team consists of myself, Julia Valenzuela, Giselle Figueroa, Alessandro Vasquez, and Gabriela Montaño. In our specific category, we placed first in regionals in a very popular category, and then in state we placed second place, so we will be qualifying for nationals. And what we focused on was anxiety. We wanted to promote and kind of fight against any stigmas that revolve around the issue of anxiety and promote basic mental health exercises and mental health awareness through our social media campaigns, which you can find. It's called Mind to Mind HOSA. So please give us a follow and some support. But yes, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Osvaldo Gonzalez, and my group competition this year was public service announcement, and this is basically a competitive event that is which students create a video. They come together to create a video and inform the community about the urgent healthcare matters that are happening around the world. And this year's topic was based off the impact of fentanyl, and we came together as a group to spread the overall awareness of how it affects the lives of many around the world. And I am composed of a group of 5, including myself, Alicia Encinas, Jimena Grijalva, Alessandra Encinas, and Mia Acosta. And in the end, we did place first place for regionals, and for state, we did place first place as well. Thank you.
Hello and good evening. My name is Ed Grijalva, and for my team, we got the chance to place second place at our state competition in an event called Health Education. Health Education is a team event in which we first had to choose a health-related topic, so we choose to talk about vaping and its many negative effects since it has become very popular among our generation. And then we had to make our lesson and deliver it to a targeted audience, so we decided to give our lesson to 8th graders. After the delivery of our lesson, we made a portfolio that included our lesson plans and the resources we used, which was then graded and presented to judges. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Christian Molina, and today I'm going to be talking about Healthcare Issuer Exam. So basically, the Healthcare Issuer Exam provides members with the opportunity to investigate and apply their knowledge to health-related issues going around the world. So basically, what this event consists of is a multiple-choice test and one essay question that will help to break a tie. Thank you.
And lastly, we would like to invite you all to our ceremony awards that will be held on May 15 at 6 p.m. at DHA's auditorium. And we have some invitations going around, and it will be a pleasure to have you all in our ceremony. Thank you.
And this morning, we had a confirmation for sort of a keynote speaker, but Cochise County Superintendent Dr. Clay will be presenting at our award ceremony. Any questions?
How many?
Go ahead.
Go.
Yep.
I just want to know how many students you all are taking to nationals, because I signed for a big number.
So
the board knows.
53 officially qualified to go to nationals, and we are taking 48 students to nationals.
Members of the board.
Just another example of our fine student work, and that generation there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Elcha.
I'm so excited. It's always wonderful to see HOSA come and give us a little rundown about your year and where you're headed this summer. You're always going to nationals this summer. I'm sorry, but it kind of makes me feel like we expect them to go. But we know you worked really hard, and I'm so pleased. And 53, Martha, oh, heavens.
And Mr. Nelson and I were just discussing that. We've qualified for nationals every single year of the 17 years, but we've never qualified over, usually 26, 27, I think, had been the biggest group. So this year, it was a little much.
I know that we're going to hear wonderful things from that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
As always, you're here every year with an outstanding group, and the kids are always so respectful, and they're just a paragon of what we try to do in the school district. And they not only do it here, but they do it other places, and it's always a credit to you, Martha.
Thank you.
So with that, members of the board, anything else?
It is,
Yes.
very satisfying to see that.
And the work of all Mr. Nelson, Mrs. Seville, the long hours you all put in to prepare the kids outside of school, and it's very exciting to travel with these young ladies and gentlemen, and you all look so sharp, so.
You're all invited to come with us.
Yeah, I know she needs chaperones. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mitch, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on now to the last school report by Mr. Luna. And is your underling here, your successor, is she here?
She is.
Yes.
I will be introducing her in just a moment.
Oh, okay, because we're going to let you introduce her for next year, right?
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure having you. You're a gem. You really are, and you're involved in so many things at that high school. You know, I humorously said earlier that made reference to that Spanish painter. The analogy was that every time you go to the high school or it's your some function, if it's an activity or athletic or whatever it happens to be, honor society or awards for you, you're there, and you've been a great asset to this school district, and thank you for all your contributions on the board, and we really wish you the best of luck, Victor.
Thank you so much.
So you can go ahead with your if you want to do the introduction afterwards, but then go ahead and do your report.
Good evening, Mr. President Brain, Superintendent Samaniego, members of the board, DUSD faculty and staff, and members of the public. This is my final board meeting, and I will not be giving my report. I will be introducing Nicole Michel. She will be taking over my position as student body president this upcoming school year.
And Victor,
you.
before you do that, we do have a token of our appreciation, and I will agree with Mr. Bahrain, and I think every board member here, that you truly are a remarkable young man, and we wish you the best. And for the very first time, we've been giving an award to our staff members. And so you are my gem. I am a treasure hunter, and I seek for treasures, and you're one of them. And so today I'm going to give you a smaller gem award for you, and I want you to value it. I want you to think about it during those tough times, because being an adult is tough, and you're going to have lots of memorable times at U of A. And we wish you the best of luck. So I'm going to give you this little gem as my little treasure hunter. And we also have a token of our appreciation from our governing board as our ex-official member for the 23-24 school year. And what do we say, once a bulldog?
Always a bulldog.
Always a bulldog. So there you go. That is our token of appreciation for being a wonderful ex-official.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank all the board.
I'd like to thank you all so much for this grand opportunity. It really has been a pleasure not only serving on this chair, but serving just the high school and the district in general through all my various positions. And with that, I would like to invite you all to attend our graduation ceremony on May 24th.
Oh, we'll be there anyway.
Yes.
We'll be there.
you and congratulations. Thank you.
We're so proud of you.
Why don't you give us your name so that we get accustomed to seeing you?
Hello. So my name is Nicole Michelle, and I am the upcoming president for the next year, and I am very excited. So, good evening, Mr. President Bahrain, Superintendent Samaniego, members of the board, DUSD faculty and staff, and members of the public. The activity report at DHS and DUSD schools for the month of May is as follows. Starting off with school highlights, congratulations to our valedictorian Ignacio Anguiano Villarreal and our salutatorian Giselle Figueroa for their outstanding academic achievements at DHS students. Congratulations to the class of 2024 for reaching a meaningful milestone in their path to college, career, and life. We wish you the best of luck and make us proud. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Now, what's going on in our district? At DHS, the activities/events are May 8th, DHS Literary Showcase from 2 p.m. May 8th through 8th grade athletic and club roundups at 6 p.m. May 9th, DHS Choir and Band Spring Concert at 7 p.m. May 13th, Senior Awards and Scholarship Night, 5:30 p.m. May 17th, Senior Athletic Awards Night at 6 p.m. May 20th, Class of 2024 Senior Walk to all DUSD schools, 8 through 12 p.m. May 21st, Class of 2024 Fun Day. May 23rd, Graduation Practice at 6 p.m. And May 24th, DHS Commencement Ceremony at 7:30 p.m. Now at Raybrain Middle School, the band concert May 14th at 7 p.m. The Color Run and Cougar Spring Celebration on Wednesday, May 15th from 1:30 to 4 p.m. 5th grade tour of RBMS and ESS Transition Night on May 16th. The 8th grade promotion on Wednesday, May 22nd at 10:30 a.m. At Paul Huber Middle School, Cinco de Mayo Festival, May 3rd, 2024, from 3:01 through 6 p.m. For Corico Dance at Clausen, May 6th, 2024. Band concert, May 16th, 2024, starting at 6 p.m. Spring Fling, May 16th. 5th grade tour, May 16th. 8th grade promotion, May 24th, 2024, at 8:30 a.m. in the Huber Gym. At Clausen Elementary School, thank you to all sponsors, the community, our Clausen families, and our amazing Clausen staff for all of their help during another successful Mile Run event. DFD Splash Day, May 10th. Hopeful Future Career Fair, 4th and Kinder, May 16th. Color Run and Annual Kickball Games, May 17th. Pre-K Promotion Ceremonies, May 20th. Kinder and 5th grade promotion, May 21st. Quarter 4 Award Assembly, May 22nd. At Stevenson Elementary School, the Color Run will take place May 10th. 5th grade tour, May 16th. Fire Department Splash Day, May 17th. Kinder Promotion Ceremony, May 21st. 5th grade promotion ceremony, May 21st. At Joe Carlson Elementary School, Buy One, Get One Free Scholastic Book Fair is taking place this week from May 6th through the 10th. Douglas Fire Department will be at Joe Carlson on Monday, May 13th for Splash Day. Joe Carlson will have their kindergarten promotion ceremony on May 20th and the 5th grade promotion ceremony on May 21st. At Sarah Marley Elementary School, on Friday, May 10th, we will have a preschool Mother's Day picnic. On Mother's Day, May 14th, the fire department will be at our school for Wet Day. Our 5th grade promotion ceremony will take place on Monday, May 20th at 1 p.m. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna be talking more to you later, but I do want to say that, you know, your participation is important, and we want you to speak up on any item that you feel that you want to comment on. And you need to know, because it's important that the one memorable time that Victor spoke up, he talked about chicken Alfredo in the cafeteria. So feel free to talk about anything that you think is right. Thank you, Victor, and we'll be in touch with you. Thank you. All right. Year-to-date budget report, Mr. Soto.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Mr. President, board members. later on that agenda, we're gonna approve the final revision of the budget for this school year. This report that you have in front of you reflects those new figures. Again, I'm gonna get more in depth once we get to that item and give you more specifics in terms of loss of enrollment and all that stuff that it's important to mention. I just wanna know if you have any specific questions about this report in terms of the cash balances and travel.
Members of the board regarding any of that?
One of the things that President Brain mentioned at the beginning of the meeting is news coming up, especially from the federal government in terms of salaries and in terms of the overtime rule that it just.
Fair Labor Standard Act.
Excuse me?
FLSA.
You're right, the Fair Labor Standards Act. This rule is basically in terms of salaries to exempt employees. And as you know, with the district, we have quite a few exempt employees. And this new, this is an update to the previous one that it was approved, I believe, 3-4 years ago. Now, I'm just going to read you a little bit of the extract of what we got. And it says the White House Office of Information has finalized a new rule that significantly raises the salary thresholds for which employees are eligible for overtime pay under the Fair Labor Standards Act. The rule increases the minimum salary level for exempt executive, administrative, or professional employees from the current $35,568 per year, or $684 per week, to approximately $55,068 per year, or $1,059 per week. Additionally, the threshold for highly compensated employees will rise from $107,432 to $143,988 annually. Again, this is something that will potentially be approved within, probably be effective July 1st. Like I mentioned, we have a couple, mainly our supervisors are the exempt employees we have. Some of them already exceed that amount, the minimum, but there's other ones that we probably will need to adjust in the near future. But again, it's something that for you to be aware of, that we might be bringing that item at a later board meeting. As Mrs. Samaniego also mentioned earlier, our title grant monies have been allocated. We still have some final numbers in terms of carryover and final allocations, which, again, as you know, also the grants are affected by enrollment. So with this revision, again, which I'm going to go in deeper conversations later, we're good to finish up the school year the way we intended. Again, probably the projection in terms of carryover is going to be a little less because I had to cover with the loss of enrollment that we've been experiencing. I know Mrs. Cox is going to talk about enrollment in a bit, but we've been kind of like stable for the past months. So, I mean, that's good for me in terms of projections and building the budget for next year. Any questions?
Members of the board, the importance of the FLSA is that as he said, he's going to bring it back. We're going to have to adjust some salaries, so it's going to cost some money. Some of these people are going to have to be brought up to the threshold, and we'll get more into that later. But I just want you to know, and that's the reason I want him to report on it, so that it's something that we've got advance notice on, and the amounts and the specifics will be brought back to us at a later date. All right. You have any questions or comments regarding the budget or the report, members of the board? No. Let's move on to HR. Ms. Cox.
So, good evening.
Your mic.
Our current enrollment is 3,683. As Mr. Soto said, we've remained pretty even with our enrollments and our withdrawals. We still have some remaining vacancies in HR, and our administrators are actively recruiting and hiring. So that's all I have for today.
Any questions or comments?
Ms. Cox, how many teachers did we lose that did not return their contract? Or
only about four teachers.
Oh, great. Okay.
We're going to talk, or there might be some questions or comments later when we get into the transfers and the retirements and so on, so we'll kind of hold off on that. Do you have anybody that wants to address the board?
Yes, sir.
Item 2, consent agenda, approval of the following consent agenda items, payroll and expense vouchers and reports. Mr. Lindeman.
I move to approve the consent agenda items 1A, B, and C.
Is there a second?
Second,
By Mr.
Ramos.
Ramos.
the guy with the hat.
Members of the board, any questions, discussion, any comments you want to make about the payroll and vouchers? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burring?
Yes, item 3, action items, discussion action on the approval of classified resignations and retirement. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, action item A are classified staff that is resigning, or that are resigning and retirement with different effective dates, so as presented.
Get a motion on the floor for
I
discussion.
move to approve the classified resignations and retirement.
Second?
Second.
By Salchow. Any discussion, any further information? Any further information?
I just want to give a shout out to Mrs. Nally. She has been wonderful all those years. She was there when my kids were there, and I could go on, but she's very wonderful and well deserving of a retirement.
Yes, so her retirement is actually a change of date. If you recall, she had already been brought up, but she's staying with us at least half a semester more.
Good.
So,
Further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burring?
Yes, item B, discussion action on the approval of certified hires for school year 24-25. Ms. Samaniego.
yes, as presented, these are all teachers that went through the interview process and are being recommended for various positions for the 24-25 school year.
Get a motion on the floor, Ms.
I move to approve the certified hires.
Second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? A couple of those are key positions, especially the first bullet. What do you have in store for, the individual there is moving, so what about the void left?
Yes, we're, so Mr. Adrian Torres is being recommended as the CT construction teacher, and as you recall, this is our first year having the program and now having a new classroom with the new construction. So we will be filling that position. It is posted, and we hope to find somebody that can fill Mr. Torres' shoes and get some training prior to the start of his contract year as a teacher.
Members of the board, any further discussion regarding any of that? Ms. Cox, you want to add anything?
I do not know. And we have some of the people present today, some of the.
Yeah, we'll as soon as we do the classified hires, then we'll have them introduce themselves.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burring?
Yes, item C, discussion action on the approval of classified hires. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, you have the information there. You see that the 4 reading interventionists that we've been talking about, out of the 14 that we had, we were only able to keep 4 of them, and they are being paid out of the early literacy grant.
Out of the early learning grant?
Early literacy.
Yeah, that's not Title 4B, right? That's not the one you were
No.
going to do initially?
No.
Motion on the floor?
Move to approve the classified hires.
Second.
Second.
I think Ms.
Ms.
Salchow.
Alcha?
Any further discussion, members of the board? Administration?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burring?
Yes, item D, discussion action on the approval of certified summer hires. Funding source is ESSER 3. Ms. Samaniego.
And before we go on to that, I'd like to welcome our any certified hires that we have in our audience to come up to the podium, introduce yourself, and let us know where you're going to be working at in the 24-25 school year.
Good evening, everybody. I'll be transferring from the print shop coordinator to the new CT construction teacher. And it excites me, especially after seeing the accomplishments of our students this evening. And throughout the duration of this week I've had the pleasure of being able to print out every single certificate that's going out, and it's quite a bit. So it's been quite amazing to see the opportunities that could arise with this. So I thank you guys all.
Congratulations,
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to many great things in construction.
You're going to be available for help on the other position if needed, right? Yes. With no extra pay?
Other duties as
Thank you.
assigned.
Thank you, Adrian. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hi, good evening. My name is Daniela Duran, and I'm going to be a new teacher in Douglas High School. And I want to thank you all for the opportunity. I come from Agua Prieta. I actually teach in a school there, but it's a new opportunity for me, and I want to thank you all for it.
Welcome. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nadia Sandoval. I'm from Agua Prieta. I will be joining the science department at the Douglas High School. And I also want to thank you for this opportunity.
Very good. Thank you very much.
These are two
Welcome.
teachers that are coming under the H-1 visa program, so.
You know, this school district's becoming very international.
Yes.
With all of the people we have
Yes.
from all over, right? And that's a good thing.
And if I may add, Ms. Sandoval is a doctor in Mexico. She's a doctor.
A medical doctor?
Yes.
So congratulations and welcome.
Does that mean we can have a free consultation? No, okay.
At the board member, at least write a prescription, right?
And if we have any classified hires in the audience that would like to introduce themselves? I don't think we have any. Okay.
All right, we're moving on to D then, right?
Yes.
Discussion action on the approval of certified summer school hires and the funding sources. Yes, sir, Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, I do have a correction on Jasmine Leon. Her name is Jasmine Lopez, not Leon, so I want to make sure we have that correction for the record, and as presented.
Mr. Lindeman,
Move to approve the certified summer high school hires with the correction.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion, members of the board, questions, comments? Members of the administration? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item D, discussion action on the approval of classified summer hires and the funding source also is ESSER 3, Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, you have in your agenda the different groups of employees and for their different schools, and you have all the information there, so they are all summer school hires for under ESSER 3, as presented.
Mr. Lindeman,
Move to approve the classified summer hires.
second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item F, discussion action on the approval of classified food service summer hires. Funding source 510, food service, Ms. Samaniego.
So obviously, having a summer program requires food service staff, and these are the employees that are being recommended for summer work, as presented.
Mr. Lindeman,
And move to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion?
None.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item G, discussion action on the approval of certified 21st century community learning centers, and that CCLC hires funding source 21st century. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, and this is our summer school 21st century program for Stevenson.
Mr. Lindeman.
Move to approve the certified 21st century community learning centers.
Second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Any
No.
further comments, discussion by the administration? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item H, discussion action on the approval of classified century 21st century community learning centers hires funding source is 21st century. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, these are, again, the 21st century program classified recommendation.
Mr. Lindeman?
Move to approve the classified 21st century community learning centers.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. Any further discussion, members of the board? Questions, comments? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes. Item I, discussion action on the approval of classified transfers. Ms. Samaniego?
As presented.
And the reason for board action is there's an increase in
Pay.
in
Mhm.
pay.
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Move to approve the classified transfers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Selchow. Further discussion?
None.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes, item J, discussion, information only for certified and classified internal transfers for fiscal year 2024-25. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, so this is just for information purposes. Adriana Rojas and Michael Chavez transferring to a different school as presented.
Do you have a good replacement for Michael Chavez in math at our BMS?
We hope to be. So that's a vacancy that we have to fill.
Any comments, members of the board? Anything else you want to add
No,
regarding that?
and then we had a classified transfer there as well for information purposes. So as presented.
And that's a lateral transfer?
Mhm, yes.
Item K, discussion action on the approval of termination of an at-will notice for fiscal year 2024-25. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, and this is for non-renewal of continuation of employment for the fiscal year 24-25. You have all your background information there.
Get a motion on the floor, Mr. Lindeman.
I move to approve the termination of at-will notice.
Second?
Second.
By Ms. Selchow. Discussion, anything you want to add? There's
No.
all the information's there in the background. Any discussion, members of the board?
I have a couple of questions, if I can find my background here on the computer.
That's it right there.
I guess my question is when you look through the evaluations, and they're good evaluations, and then this person all of a sudden needs some adjustment, is there a different level, or is that just one person's opinion?
Well, the evaluations are done by, directors, principals, supervisors. In this case, it was a supervisor. But if you see the gradual, there's 3 evaluations there since the employee started working, and you can see the progression of, let's say the first evaluation showing a relatively good evaluation, and then as the second evaluation goes, there's some areas that were addressed there, and you can see the categories for. And then there is the last evaluation for this following year. So it's a progression of areas that were addressed with this certain employee.
Not to belabor the point, but, in all fairness, when I look at, say, the comments under some of these things, and then you make a general statement, there should be some reasons or some examples, between these things. Now, I don't know if they've discussed it or they've gone through it, but when I just look at this and I read that, those are my questions.
Yes.
Okay, general statement, what's the background? What, prove to me what that statement says.
Well, the evaluations are what you see there. It's a ranking. There's an area for comments. And so obviously, the in-between conversations that take place, and I will also defer to Mrs. Cox because she's been involved with this particular employee. There are conversations that take place addressing those areas of concern. It's just that on an evaluation, it's what you see right there. There is no other form of addressing anything or stating on, let's say lack of responsibility. This is the example. Those are things that happen, in between those evaluations and conversations, if that answers your question. On the
Well-
evaluation itself, it doesn't,
Right.
give you that area where you can justify that ranking or add more, other than the comments. It's the in-between conversations, and everything that happens else, throughout the year.
Well, I'm just thinking, in my experience, and, not only at this school, but other schools, I must have worked with, 8 superintendents and 25 principals, and everybody has their own little idiosyncrasies, but, you have to be compatible with that, and I just don't know, and I hope that this has been a fair representation.
Ms. Cox, were you going to comment on that?
No, and so evaluations so you see 2 in his first year, it's because they have a 90-day grace period that they have to do their first evaluation. Excuse me, and then their second evaluation was last year. And so there are things that were noted in the first evaluation that continued, I think, to progress. The conversations, as Mrs. Samaniego says, they do happen, and I think, I can't speak for Mr. Dries, but when there are deficiencies, that they're addressed and given the opportunity to improve on whatever that deficiency is throughout the year before it gets to the evaluation.
Okay.
And, just let me add that a couple of things that were kind of stood out in there as well was there was one instance of insubordination, which is cause, and that could be immediate termination, but it wasn't done. The overriding factor is that, and it doesn't overshadow the all of the documentation that's there, is the fact that it's an at-will employee anyway. So at-will employees are.
Well, right, but I hate to see.
But I'm saying it's not going to completely cast a pall over all of the other things that happen, but anybody with or without cause can be terminated as an at-will employee, as you well know. All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Roll call. Excuse me, any further discussion? No. Mr. Smith, did you want to make any comments regarding that? I forgot he was on the phone.
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes. Item L, discussion action on the approval of a Pima County College Program Student Observer, Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, this she needs to do some observation hours at Clausen and Douglas High School.
Mr. Lindemann,
Move to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes, item M, discussion action on the approval of a volunteer, Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, this is a softball volunteer, and you have your information in the background.
Mr. Lindemann,
I move to approve the volunteer.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes, and we always want to make sure that with all these volunteers, we talk about it over and over, that we don't get so many volunteers that they're running into one another out there.
Yes.
And I'm sure that the high school administration is well aware of that, and they wouldn't recommend it if that were the case. Item N, discussion, action on the approval of donations received for the Douglas Unified School District number 27. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, donation of $240 from Caring for Classrooms to Joe Carlson, fifth grade classroom teacher, classrooms, Mrs. Acosta. Ms. Acosta.
Mr. Lindemann,
I move to approve the donation.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes, item O, discussion action on the approval of the Dropout Prevention and Recovery Master Services Agreement between Graduation Alliance Incorporated and Douglas Unified School District. Ms. Samaniego.
So you have before you, and you have it in your background, our attorney has reviewed the Graduation Alliance document that you have, which is our agreement for services. and has been reviewed by both attorneys, and this would allow us to go into partnership with Graduation Alliance as previously presented to assist Douglas High School in our graduation rates, dropout prevention strategies, and this is one of my goals and one of Mrs. Rodriguez's, goals as a principal, to offer something like this for our students. We've met extensively. I have met Jay at a previous, conferences, and that's where I met Jay and heard about their efforts and what they do. And then I brought them over to Douglas. We've met extensively. Mr. Soto has been involved, and the Douglas High School administration. And so this is my recommendation. I think this is something that's going to benefit DHS, and I wish that it could include the middle school somehow, but we've got to find a program like that for middle school as well.
Let's get a motion on the floor to.
I move to approve the Graduation Alliance and DUSD agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion. Do people want to come back up and add anything? It looks like the information given previously is probably going to suffice. Unless members of the board, do you have any specific questions?
I do.
Yeah, you want to come back up, please? Go ahead, Mr. Lindemann.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was just wondering earlier, you mentioned that you also did GED for parents or things like that. Have you ever run into a situation where you're working with a student and the parent needs that help to help the student?
We've actually had it happen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
We've actually had it happen where a parent recommends their student for the program. And so if we are working in that area with the community college for parents, and they have actually helped us get contacts within the high school for their students. So we have had that happen on occasion.
That's awesome, because there are people that maybe fall into that category. My second question was merely, is this open to all high school students if they run into the 10-day?
It is. That is up to the discretion of the district.
Okay.
So we will work with the district to enroll any students they feel would be deemed successful in the program. The one stipulation is, we do ask that students at least have a 5th grade reading level. For them to be successful in the program, they will need to be able to read at a 5th grade level, but other than that, we can work with pretty much any student.
Okay, so generally, all the high school students that run into a problem, I think this is a great program because, you can at least, as they say, cut them off at the pass if they start to get in trouble, and then you're there, and you catch them in the safety net. So.
And I will say one of the things that we are working on, it's very unfortunate, but we are starting to have districts come to us quite frequently about middle school. And it is one of the things that we're working on. We are actually offering middle school in California right now, so I would imagine that it'll be here before we know it, unfortunately.
Any further questions?
You're
Ms.
welcome.
Salcho, did you have a question? Mr. Romo? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Salcho, did you?
So this would be in lieu of like an alternative school program?
So it
We
is
would
an
call this
alternative.
alternative education?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
No, that
Okay.
answers.
I think you said that you have been doing this for 16 years. Was that the number?
Correct, yes, you got it.
And do you do this in other states as well?
We do. We are in right now 19 different states across the country. Some of our longest states that we've been working in are Washington, Oregon, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas. So we have been in Florida for the past 5 years, California for the past 3 years, and have grown exponentially, as you can imagine, with COVID. We were one of the few organizations that probably ended up enrolling more students than we could have ever anticipated.
Okay, is there anything you want to add?
No, our goal is to be back in front of you in 6 to 9 months with some graduates. So that is our goal for you.
Okay, thank you. And we hope that it's successful, obviously.
Us too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members of the board, any further discussion, comments? Michelle, did you want to say anything? Miss Michelle, did you want to say anything about that program?
No, I just think it's a great opportunity, and it's good that we're implementing it now.
Very good. All right, good. That's so that you can be part of the record for the first time you ever came to the meeting. Now you're part of the minutes and history,
Yes.
right? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bree?
Yes, item P, discussion information on the 2024-25 ballot schedule for Rayburn Middle School. Ms. Samaniego.
This is just for information. I've already approved Mrs. La Madri's changes for her master schedule. Ms. La Madrid, you want to come up and just highlight a couple of the things that you're doing a little bit different?
Hello again. So with this change of schedule, we've decided to kind of model what Huber, the schedule that Huber has. This will allow our class sizes to decrease, where now teachers will be teaching 6 classes instead of 5. I'm not including their plan or our response to intervention. So now teachers have 6 classes, so our class sizes will decrease. In addition, most importantly, we do have one class that every ELL student, English language learner, must attend. With our current schedule, they're not allowed, unfortunately, to have electives because that one elective, instead of the elective, they're in their ELL class. With this new bell schedule, they'll be allowed at least one elective. So all ELL students will now have an opportunity to have an elective for the school year, and the rest of the students will be allowed to have 2 electives during the school year as opposed to just one. So it's a better opportunity not only for our non-ELL students, but our ELL students as well. I brought this to our first our leadership and then our classroom teachers to ask how they felt about it, and they actually were appreciative of the fact that they had opportunity to have smaller class sizes. With that being said, our ELL teachers, because they're now teaching additional class, instead of having anywhere between 17 to 18 students right now, their numbers will then go back to 9, 10, 11 students, which will make it more one-on-one, more small groups, and our hope is that we can push more students, raise the rigor for our ELL so that we can get more out of our ELL program.
Members of the board, any questions or comments? Mr. Lund?
I think that's a great idea, because being an elective person, those things are important. And I think that makes the day more fun.
And unfortunately, a lot of our ELL students did have an interest in band and in music, but unfortunately, because they had the ELL class, they were not allowed to participate, and this will give them the opportunity.
Awesome.
Ms. Helch, you have any comments?
I think it's a great idea.
Mr. Ramos? No. Mr. Smith?
No comment.
While you're up there, how are we doing on the bathrooms down there?
The boys' bathroom is almost complete. They're now going to start begin construction on our girls'. They're starting with the ceiling first, so we don't have to close off our girls' bathroom, so we're appreciative of that. But there's an estimation the next couple of weeks they should be done with the boys' bathroom. Once they're done with the boys, they'll start a demolition on the girls. So we're really appreciative of that.
They're looking nice.
They're very pretty, looking very, very nice. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask about the ADA that we were trying to do at the RBMS?
I can answer to that. I mean, we've been in communication with the School Facilities Board. We're still waiting on their decision about that. Again, since it's late on the year and they have basically no money to give, they know the importance of the issue, and we're trying to address that before even school starts next year. But again, we already have the architect looked at it. He's working on the design. It's just the most important thing is the funding.
Okay.
For approval from the School Facilities Board.
Thank you.
And most importantly, our students will now be released at 3:06 as opposed to 3:15. I think that's a welcomed reward to our students since we did we are now a B school. So hopefully we can continue with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Soto's fully aware of the concerns regarding the staff bathrooms down there too. So
Yes.
he's looking into that as well. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Rhoda.
Thank you.
All right, that was information only.
Yes.
Item Q, discussion action on the approval of the final revised district annual expenditure budget for fiscal year 2023-24. And, of course, we've got the guru here. We got Sonia, just in case Mr. Soto has any problems.
That's why she's here.
Go ahead.
Again, thank you, Mr. President. This is the second revision of our budget for this school year and the final one. And this is where we need to make sure that we have enough, monies on the lines to finish up the year, especially with salaries and benefits and all that. And like I mentioned at the beginning, it's also going to reflect the loss of enrollment. Again, if you remember when we did the first revision, that was the big impact where we started the adoption at 3,584. Again, this is weighted counts. And we revised at 3,488, which was almost 100 students where that we had to adjust there. Now, this time is not as bad. It's only 26 students that we lost from the first revision to the second revision. And like I told you before, I'm not concerned about this year. We have enough funds to finish up the year. And of course, with this little loss of enrollment, the carryover is the one that is going to get impacted. Again, it's always, we have to wait until all of the POs are closed, and we pay all of our vendors to know exactly how much money we're going to have to start to carry over for next year. Most likely, I'm going to use these figures. If we don't get any new ones, most likely probably May or June, that we're going to use whatever the state is going to report in terms of enrollment for us, so I can, start building the budget for next year. That we should have a special board meeting late June for the proposed budget, and then the first meeting in July to do the adoption. Again, I'm hoping that the loss of enrollment is not going to continue. Like Mrs. Cox said, I mean, we're kind of like balanced where we enroll in as many cases we drop. Again, this is just for your approval, and I don't know if you have specific questions in terms of.
You still have as a priority consideration the one-time payment in August out of those ESSER funds, right?
That's ESSER. Again, we still have the summer school to go through. Once we are done paying all those people, then we'll have a very good knowledge of how much money we're going to have left to distribute as a one-time early in August that we're planning on distributing those monies.
Okay, board members, you remember that we were all in accord of doing that, right? All right, so I know you're
Yes.
definitely on board with that, so. All right, we have a motion on the floor.
No, sir.
No.
Mr. Lindeman.
I move to approve the final revised district annual expenditure budget. Second.
Second by Mr. Ramos. Any discussion regarding that? Anything else you want to add before we call for the question?
No, like I said, I mean, we're good for this year. I'll start working on the projections for next year's budget.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Breen?
Yes, our discussion action on the approval of continuing investment resolution with the Cochise County Treasurer's Office. Ms. Samaniego, or do you want to defer to Mr. Soto?
Mr. Soto.
This is a yearly thing that we have with the county. As you know, they kind of manage our checks and warrants and all that, but they also, we're giving them the authority to invest whatever monies we have, and so they can give us the huge interest we gain.
Entertain a motion to get that
I
over.
move to approve the continuing investment resolution with the county.
Second
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Mr.
Well,
Lindeman.
what is the interest rate now off the top of your head?
These investments are like very quick, like on a monthly basis, depending how much money they get from the state, and then they put it in there, whatever interest we gain. I can probably tell you it's like not even $100, but.
Yeah. And this is different than what we're used to work on with the city. You know, when they have the investment of the monies, they put that into longer term. And so the school is different than that.
Correct, because remember that the state send us the money on a monthly basis. It's not like, here's your 30 million and
Right.
must be nice, we can invest the 30 million, but
It's
no.
different with the city and the school.
Yeah, it is,
A lot
yeah.
different. They're covered by different statutes and.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, item T, discussion action on the
S.
approval.
S.
We're on S.
I'm sorry, did I skip S?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item S, discussion action on the approval or renewal of the employee staffing agreement between Douglas Unified School District and ESI for fiscal year 2024-25. Ms. Samaniego?
This is as presented. This is, again, we've done this, I think, for 3 years. It's an annual renewal agreement. It's been reviewed by our attorney, and this will allow us to continue working with our ESI employees, and currently we have 4 in the district that are working with us as retirees.
Let's get a motion on the floor, Ms. Solano.
I move to approve the ESI.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Selchow. Members of the board, any discussion regarding that?
I just had one, one question, and we've talked about this before, that if you have an employee on ESI, they're not technically the district's employees. That's still,
Correct.
so, well, when it comes up, we'll have to have a discussion on that, but right now, I think it's been working. And so it's a needed program.
Yes.
You know, we've talked about that many times, and that's been one of the, as far as I was concerned, a major drawback. And the question that always is in the back of your mind is the disciplinary. And, you know, we had one situation a couple years ago regarding that, and our hands were tied. We couldn't do anything. It was up to ESI, and we were at their mercy and their attorney's mercy, that whether or not we move forward with the action on that employee. So that's the major drawback to that program, that we don't have any control over anything, evaluation or anything.
Right.
Technically, we shouldn't even evaluate them. And they're supposed to have a person on site that's a representative of ESI. I think they call them a site administrator, and we've never seen one. And they should actually make a contribution to the district to give the high school principal or anybody else that has them extra compensation for supervising those people, and I think it's something we ought to look into. No, I'm serious about that. I feel the same way about Laura in the business office. She handles all the insurance for all these insurance companies, and we pay her. We literally don't have anything to do with it. She's offering the service. Anyway, we're not going to get into that, because then I always get off on these tangents and people start scratching their head and saying, let's move on. So anyhow, any further discussion regarding that?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Now we're on item T. Discussion action on the approval or renewal of the dual enrollment intergovernmental agreement between Cochise Community College District and Douglas Unified School District for the 2024-25 school year. Ms. Samaniego.
Again, as presented, this is our yearly agreement that allows us to have dual enrollment for our high school students. The information is in your background, and it has been a benefit to our students to get that dual enrollment credit.
Mr. Lindemann?
I move to approve the dual enrollment IGA between the Cochise College and DUSD.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion?
I just want to ask the superintendent, someone, are these students that are behind, or they're just, they have the time, enough credits to be able to have?
Well, these are students that have the ability to take English 101, English 102, and Math 151. And what they do is they are able to get the credit at the high school, but also advance in their credit at Cochise College.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the high school, that doesn't mean that they're behind.
Okay,
It's an
yes.
advanced opportunity for them, because some of them are graduating from high school with already some college credits.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Yes, I'm actually going to be taking 2 next year.
Did you take advantage of that yourself?
Yes.
Oh, it's,
And Victor, did you take this?
Victor, you
Yes,
did too?
Of course.
Yeah.
Up to 4 classes right now.
Roll call. You know, you have to embrace the district when you graduate. Did you know that? No, I'm just kidding. Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Item U, discussion action on the approval of revision athletic trainer job description. Ms. Samaniego.
As you remember, we had brought the job description of the athletic trainer so that it would allow us to post it. I did tell you that we were going to bring it back with some revisions. We worked on it and got some language included in there that is best suited for this position. And you will later, the next item, also, we've placed it in the salary, in the classified salary schedule with the base salary. And this is what I have for this position. It's been posted. We haven't had any applicants yet. We hope that now that we've looked at the salary, maybe we'll attract, some qualified applicants. I do know that in Cochise County, Sierra Vista, Benson, and Bisbee, ourselves, Cochise College, are also looking for some employees in this category.
Let's get a motion on the floor for discussion.
I move to approve the revision of the athletic trainer job description.
Second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion, members of the board. Any questions, comments? I think she well pointed out what the revisions were. The other thing that you need to be cognizant of is the classification. It's also exempt. Exempt certified?
Because it's certified as a.
On their field.
Under their field.
Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
all right, got it. All right, any further discussion, members of the board? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Yes, item B, discussion action on the approval of the revision to the Douglas Unified School District number 27 classified salary schedule for fiscal year 2024-25. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, so the revision includes the athletic trainer position and its salary.
Let's get a motion on the floor.
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion? Anything else you want to add? That's, the money's budgeted for all of that,
Correct.
the extra money, et cetera. Roll call.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Yes, item W, discussion action on the approval of amendment to sole source provider for fiscal year 2023-24. Mr. Soto.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, this is a sole source approval. We typically bring the sole source at the beginning of the year to start the fiscal year. Now, Marco brought the need of now hosting the Tyler Visions, our software that we utilize to have it in the cloud. So instead of using our own servers, now the company is going to be hosting that virtually, where we don't have to worry about hardware and equipment. And because of that addition, then we need to amend the sole source, because when it was presented, it was just for different modules. Now, this is for this year. Once we bring the sole source again in July for next year, that module is going to be already included in there too. So just for audit purposes, we just want to have that amended and approved for this current year.
Mr. Lindemann.
I move to approve the amendment for sole source provider.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Members of the board, do you have any
I
questions?
wanted to ask
Go
you,
ahead,
so
Mr.
now, monetarily, it's going to be beneficial to have it there.
Correct.
Because you're not going to have to have all the
Equipment.
backups and everything that you have on there.
Correct.
So we're going to save a little bit of money.
Yeah, less money for Marco, so that's a good thing.
I have a question.
He just shut your mic off. Go ahead, Mr. Lindemann.
All right, when you talk about cybersecurity, now, there's a fee for that, isn't there? Or do we?
That'll be a Marco question, because I don't think there's a cybersecurity.
You don't have a mic in there?
I don't.
We're going to have to get you one.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. This is my cup of tea, so I could talk about it all night long, but I'll keep it short, I promise. Well, I've already been here for 2 hours, a little over. There is a fee because we're using their services for hosting, but it will offset the cost of having our own servers, which we have to replace every 5 or 6 years, and it's not cheap, and it gets more expensive every year. Another benefit is cybersecurity. You know, with all these attacks, they have more resources than we do in terms of cybersecurity and keep our data protected. So think about it. A good analogy is instead of having our savings under a mattress, we started moving them to the bank. It's the same concept.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that we're gonna keep, because not too long ago, the whole school district in Flagstaff was attacked and they were down for weeks.
Correct.
So,
More resources in terms of cybersecurity and reliability. So if something happens to our network operations center, a fire, a flood, tornado, earthquake, whatever, we can work from home. We can still access our data for employees, process payroll, all that good stuff.
okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Marco.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
No, I think he described it very well.
Anything else you want to add? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes. Item X, discussion action pursuant to policy BGF to temporarily suspend policy BGB, requiring 2 readings of the proposed policy prior to approval of the adoption in order to approve policy GCQEA, retirement of professional support staff members. Parenthetically, it says staff post-retirement employment option immediately upon the first reading. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, one of the reasons I'm bringing this is that when this will mirror our retirement ESI agreement that we have. Currently, our support staff members are not able to participate, as you know, as to come back as a retiree, and that decision was made years ago under the previous administration. And so this, however, the policy was never changed to reflect that. So we are removing the support staff members. And you see any changes within the red italics to exclude the support staff and add the 1-year mark instead of the 3-year, and a couple changes in just the language. This will allow employees to still continue under the retiree, stay for 1 year, and then if they choose, reapply at the district and come back and get hired back with the district after that 1-year retirement. As you know, under ASRS, if you retire from the district, you have to at least stay out for a year before you can be rehired. Some time ago, previous administration changed it to 3 years. Really, we've analyzed it, Mr. Soto, Mrs. Cox, and I, and the cost savings was really in the insurance, because when you go as a retiree, then the district, you have to pay for your insurance with the retiree company. But it'll be a better cost savings for us on the base salary if these employees return to the district. So those are the changes that you will see there.
Mr. Lindeman,
I move to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion, members of the board. Anything you want to add, Ms. Cox, that's in your area as well? Nothing you want to add to what was said? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item Y, discussion action on the approval of renewal agreement between the Stepping Stones Group and Douglas Unified School District Number 27. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, you have the agreement, and this is our Stepping Stones is the vendor that provides our related service providers listed on the agreement, from special ed teachers, physical therapists, occupational, and you know that many school districts are having to go down this avenue because of the lack of finding qualified people that work in our districts.
Mr. Lindeman,
I move to approve the agreement between Stepping Stones and DUSD.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion? Mr. Smith?
I just have one quick question. Did we ever resolve the issue of being charged traveling between schools?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of that agreement or that contract, but we really have never had any issue with any employee.
Okay,
So, to me, it's resolved, yes.
okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
How many years have we been with this company?
4,
I want to say 4 or 5.
around.
Yeah, because they had a different name.
They had a
before.
different name before, so they Actually, it's been longer. It's been longer. It's been way longer than that, yes.
And we've found
Yes.
success with
Yes,
that.
uh-huh.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, item 4, executive session. The governing board may vote into executive session pursuant to ARS 38-.431.03, subsection A, number 1, for the following personnel matter. Consideration of employment contract and benefits for Superintendent Ana Samaniego. Mr. Lindeman.
I move to enter into executive session.
Is there a second by Mr. Ramos. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Elcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brain?
Yes, and we're going to move into the superintendent's office because we've got Mr. Smith on the phone, and it's better communication in there.
Yes. Those yes,
Hold on. Let me call.
You ready? We're going to adjourn the executive session, and we're now in open meeting. We're at 5A, discussion action on the approval of employment contract and benefits for Superintendent Samaniego. Let me preface, before we get into that we're only going to be discussing the salary tonight. We will work out the particulars and the provisions of the contract at a later date, but because of the timing and the need for the budget, Mr. Soto, to know what this number is going to be, or we're going to act on it on the salary only tonight. Members of the board, I'm going to recommend that we increase Ms. Samaniego's salary by 10% for a total of 10% of $14,699.16. Added the $2,500 longevity plus the benefits for a total of $175,090.92. I'll entertain that motion.
I second.
I will move that motion.
Okay, specifically for the record, for the amounts that I read. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ramos?
Ms. Salcho had seconded.
Okay, Ms. Salcho, second. Members of the board, I think after a lot of conversation and deliberation, I think we all recognize how the duties and responsibilities and all of the accompanying activities that are involved in the superintendency now, especially in our district, that they've grown exponentially, and that this increase reflects the amount of money that I think the board is making a statement that we not only appreciate very much the job that's being done, but that we recognize all of the added duties and responsibilities of a superintendent, and especially in this day and age. And without further ado, we have a motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Baring?
Yes. Did you get that number, Mr. Soto? Do you need this? Yes, please. Thank you.
So I was like,
And again, we may have a special meeting to come back and work out all the provisions and the different recitals in the contract. But thank you, board members, for getting this done tonight, because Mr. Soto appreciates it as well, and I think Ms. Samaniego does too.
Yes, thank you very much for your continued support. We have some information items. We have the eighth grade promotion ceremony, and you're all invited, and we have two ceremonies that day. Paul Huber will be at 8:30 in the morning, and Ray Barain at 10:30 a.m. And our last day of school is approaching, May 22nd, with our Douglas High School graduation ceremony, May 24th. A little change to our graduation ceremony, as we've talked about, the ceremony is kind of long. So what we're gonna do this year is we're gonna do pictures prior to the ceremony to speed up the whole issuing of the diplomas. So I will be taking pictures with all the kids about an hour prior, and then we will go through the ceremony and do the shaking of the hand, and that will speed up the process, and hopefully we will end a little bit sooner.
Explain that. In other
Okay.
words, instead of stopping at the,
Yes.
when you take the picture.
We're gonna take the picture beforehand, there will be a setup, I will do the same motion, they have same picture, but it will be done prior, and then hopefully that will speed up our whole graduation ceremony, if that's okay with the board.
No, that's administrative, that's fine.
And our Memorial Day is May 27th, and all of our offices will be closed, and our next regular board meeting will be June 4th. Sometimes we do have a special board meeting at the end of May because of hires for next year, so Alma will be communicating that if we find that there's a need for that.
Let me comment about the graduation just quickly. I don't know, members of the board, we've all been to many graduations, right? And it seems like every year we get pushed back further and further and further from the ceremony, the actual activity of the, do you feel that way about it? That we're sitting in a bank of, a row of chairs, and it seems like the activity's taken, we might as well be sitting in the grandstand, like it's from here to the wall. I don't know, do you feel that way, or is?
I think even last year we were further back, and so Mr. Soto, when you meet with Francisco and his department, I think maybe to have the board and, the guests sit a little bit closer to the podium, because I do think last year we were a little bit further back, it felt.
First of all, you can't see the student, they're
Yes.
so
No.
far away, and secondly, it's hard to hear sitting way back there, and you can't hear the valedictory address or the salutatory address. So if we could, if the board agrees with me on that. All right.
I want to take, give the diploma, or get the diploma, or give it to my granddaughter. So the picture ahead of time, when it comes my time. for
Yes.
that.
Oh, yes.
It'll be during the ceremony. I think that takes away, don't you, a little bit? From the ceremony?
Well, every other high school, and we met Mrs. Rodriguez, because after last year's ceremony, I did say, there was some comments, and can we try to make it a lot shorter? Because our graduation ceremony was very long. And so that's what other high schools do. And this was just in conversation a couple weeks ago when we met about graduation. But that was a way, because the other thing was, they really like the walk around the field, and they don't want to get rid of that. And they thought, what if we do this and the picture is done beforehand with the handshake and the graduation and you, and then when we have the graduation ceremony, we call the names, they receive their diploma, and then they exit.
Maybe we should start at 6:30.
Okay, do we still have Mr. Smith on the phone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what, I'm
So I
gonna
can
apologize. I'm gonna apologize. We're gonna go back to Mrs. Samaniego's contract. And we're going to, I'm gonna ask, without any disapproval, if who made the motion? Mr. Lindeman, if you would withdraw your motion, and then Ms. Salcho, I think, made the second, if she would withdraw that. We forgot to add the length of the contract, and that's very
Right.
important. I mean, that's very important.
You only said.
Just said that it was
Sir.
already for 1 year.
We didn't, I didn't specify in my recommendation the length of the contract. And I'm going to specify that the contract be, do you agree?
I will withdraw my motion.
Would you second?
I withdraw my
the
second.
second? So I'm going to entertain the same motion with those same numbers for a period of 3 years. It's a multi-year contract for 3 years. And the dates to be determined by the attorney when she gives us the revised contract with all of the other recitals and proponents of that contract, okay? Is that okay?
Yes, and to also mention, to include benefits.
And the
Yeah,
benefits.
because I already didn't say the motion.
That'll come with all of the different recitals and provisions that we do when we approve all of that later. The amount of the contract is set, all right? So now we have a motion on the floor, right?
So moved.
Yeah, and Jana, will you second that
I
again?
will second.
Okay, so now we're back to the new motion with the inclusion of the length of the contract, which is for 3 years. And the date of the 3 years to be determined by the attorney, okay? All right, thank you, and I'm sorry, I'm glad we didn't walk out of here
Do you have
without
to
doing that.
revote then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Salcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Barin?
Yes.
Now
Okay,
back-
anything else?
Now back to the graduation.
I have something to say too.
Yes, okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, and having attended for many years, and I've seen how the walkway has gotten shorter.
It has gotten shorter.
But that's what takes so long. All of the outside of Douglas graduations I've been to, there isn't a long processional to get to the podium area to receive their diploma. The students line up right
Right
there.
there at the-
They move, they get it, and then they go to their seat. It's very, very, very seamless. There are schools that take no more than an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they graduate over 1,000 students.
Yes.
So,
And that's.
and they have all the other, you know,
And they don't take
the
pictures.
speeches. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't take pictures. There's some high schools that they don't even, they get like a pretend diploma, and then they pick up their diploma after the ceremony. But I think the diploma is important. So, I mean, it's still it's not set in stone. We discussed that option as a way to decrease, maybe also lining up closer. It is, you know, it's just something that we discussed. Nothing set in stone yet.
Members of the board, I want to take a 10-minute break. I want to talk to the attorney. Is it too late to get Jessica on the phone?
I can call
Over
her.
a point of order, I don't think that the withdrawing of the motion, we actually took action. And I think what we need to do is we need to rescind. I think we need to rescind the original action that we were taking up without the length of the contract in there, and then come back, because when we just withdrew the motion, we didn't rescind the action, and that concerns me. I mean, we can come back and do it at a later date, but I want to make sure that we're going to take we're on a 10-minute break. You got that for the record, Alma?
Okay, I just paused it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marco.
So, Marco, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. The board, again, my apologies, and we're back in open session, and we're back on item 4A, which is consideration of employment contract and benefits for Superintendent Ana Samaniego. I'm going to entertain a motion to rescind the action that we took earlier, which only stated the amount of the contract.
I move to rescind the earlier motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Salchow. Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes. Now I'm going to entertain a motion with the same amounts of the contract and the same totals, with all the benefits included, the numbers of the benefits, monetary benefits, and for a 3-year contract to be determined, the dates to be determined by the attorney of the length of the contract for 3 years.
So moved.
By Mr. Lindemann. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Alcha?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, and I'm sorry, I'm so sorry we had to do that so much. I didn't want to make it look like we didn't know what we were doing. All right, thank you, and thank the attorney for being available. And Kevin, thank you for being here.
No problem.
Okay, and thanks for sticking around. All right, anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Ramos. All those in, was it Salchow?
Ms. Salchow.
Ms. Salchow, I'm sorry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Stand adjourned.